Yeah. Okay. We're going to go ahead and call the Policy and Procedure Committee meeting to order. January 12th, 2016, 10:30 a.m. Elena, call the roll, please.
Raymond.
Present.
Hanson.
Yeah.
Bills.
Present.
Sure.
Here.
Schultz. Barron.
Here.
Crumlady.
Present.
Anderson.
Present. Okay, everybody present. Any public comments? Any no public comments? Move on to the discussion and motion in response to problem resolutions form filed by Iroquois County Public Health Department employees. Is everybody somewhat on the same understanding here of what they presented to us last week ago? Nobody's shaking their head no. You must remember talking to our legal representative. This may be you want to go through it, Jim? Just what your take on it was?
Well, I met with Dee this morning in regard to what her take is on it, and so I understand both sides of it. And before this meeting last week, I talked with Anita in regard to how does IMRF view something like this. To refresh my memory, but I mean, under the Tier 1, it's you got to have 8 years in, right?
Right.
So you have to complete 8 years in order to be vested with IMRF.
Right.
And under Tier 2, you have to complete 10 years in order to be vested.
Right.
But the way the language reads here, it says beginning year 8. So does that mean if you've completed 7, or if you're in your 7th year, I guess that's where really the committee has to decide how you want to interpret this and how the board as a whole wants to interpret this. Because when you look at Dee's example, you go 0, 1 year, 0, or 1 to 2, 2 to 3. You get to 7 years, it looks like you've completed 7 years, and the policy says beginning with year 8. So it's really how does the board want to interpret this?
Does past practice have any bearing on this?
It can, as far as your decision goes. I guess I don't want to get in the middle of this because it's really a matter of interpretation and how you want to interpret it.
But if we've always had it, you got your vacation after your 8th year. Why would you change it? Or why should
Again,
you change it?
I don't see a distinction. There is a distinction, but it's how the board wants to interpret this. That's where I'm going to lay this. How do you want to interpret this? I mean, past practice isn't binding, but it certainly can be used as a guide as to how you interpret it now.
Well, my concern is we've done this for everybody else. And if we change it now, did we screw everybody else? I mean,
That's a good argument.
yeah, I mean,
The answer to
that's the
is
thing, you got some people who are upset that it should be.
But they aren't aware of that. The people who filed those forms were not, how would they know that? They were asked to sign off on policy that they were given a year and a half ago when we moved over here. They read the policy, they took the policy word for word. They didn't know until they came to me and said, I'm in my 8th year of employment here, and I only got 10 working days instead of the 15. According to this policy, so it's beginning year 8 through 14 years, I'm supposed to get 15. They came to me. Then we go, and I went down to Amanda, and I said, Amanda said, well, I know what the policy says, but that's not how we do it. Well, how am my employees supposed to know that? They were given a policy, they were asked to sign off that they had read those policies. They think that those policies are binding. I mean, how are they supposed to know?
Well, that's fine, but we have to make a decision here, and I think it's a mistake to change your policy. Does anybody else have it?
I agree with that totally. If we bend, and I agree there's some problem with the wording. I do not agree that it says that after 7 years you get 15 days. But that's interpretation. But if we give 15 days to these 2 people and then change it back to what it's been, we're giving them a special deal, which I don't think we should because of everybody having gone in the past. And what I would assume that we would do after this fact, and that's to go back to what we have been doing in the past. So I would be in favor of interpreting it as beginning after the 8th year. That's how I read it in the beginning, because of the fact that that's how we always did it, and I think that's what we need to do.
The way I interpret it, we all want to go around, I don't care how we do it, but these two people, one, you have years of service, they have 7.25 years of service in the middle of December, and the other one has 7.08. Nowhere, well, the first number is a 7, it's not an 8. That's pretty plain in my mind, but it's pretty simple anyway. But I don't know what the rest of you guys are feeling, but we need to come up with a solution. We got 20, 30, 4 weeks to give them an answer. I figured today wasn't going to cost citizens anymore for you guys to stick around for 10 minutes, 15 minutes, hour, I don't care, but...
Kyle,
Donna?
I have a question.
Yep.
In the first year, is any vacation given at all, or is it at the end of your first year of employment that you get vacation time?
Anita, you want to answer that, please?
For all union people. For the non-union people, we give 5 days after 6 months. Then comes it's after they reach 1 year. That's the problem. The next December 1st, you get your second 5 days. So, because non-union people are not, those are the only people that are not granted vacation on their anniversary date, which I clearly expressed to everyone who listens that I don't like that. To me, that seems not fair, or inconsistent. But you get vacation on December 1st. It's the December 1st following your anniversary date. That's the way it's been done for everyone.
So if I start October 1st, on December 1st, I'm going to get vacation days?
No, on December 1st, you get nothing.
Okay.
So following December.
So you have to complete, that's my question, you have to complete 1 year's employment before you receive any vacation?
Yes, they don't, and the public health department employees understand that and don't have any problem with that, nor do they have a problem with waiting for December 1st, even though the policy says that it'll be granted on their anniversary date. They never had a problem with that. But if you'll let me, for 1 second, let me use this as an example. I'm going to use Teresa Castone. Her start date is 9/2/08. So in 09, she completed 1 year. In 10, she completed 2. 11, 3, 12, 4, 13, 5, 14, 6, and 15, 7. On 9/2/2015, she had completed 7 years. The argument is that because when we turn in the sheets, I turn in that she had 7.25 years, that she really hadn't completed 7 years. Well, she certainly has completed 7 years. To me, 7.0 and beyond is 7 years of employment. She did complete 7 years of employment. She's into her 8th year. But because I wrote 7.25, when I turn that in, the argument is you haven't completed, you're not through 7 until you get to 8. Well, that's like saying, I gave you $7.25. Do you have 7 complete dollars? Well, of course you do. She's completed 7 years on September 2nd. So December 1st, she was beginning her 8th year. So her 8th year, according to this, it says, the policy says after one year through 7 years, they get 10 working days. Beginning year 8 through 14, they get 15. So she's into her 8th year.
Through 7
So at the
years.
beginning of her 8th year, she should have gotten 15 working days.
Through 7 years, what does through 7 years mean? Always through the 7th year?
She completed her 7th year of employment. She did that from September 3rd of 14 through September 2nd of 15. She's done with it.
Say that sentence over again.
Which one?
Just the one about on the 8th year. Go through the 7th and hit the 8th year. You just said it. Say it again.
Right, she completed 7 years of employment on September 2nd of 2015. So September 3rd of 2015, she was beginning her 8th year of employment.
Yeah.
The beginning. The policy says beginning year 8 through 14 years, 15 working days.
Well, that should be on upon completion of 8.
Well, then, but that's not what it is. The top line says after year 1 through year 7. The second line, that's what the intention is, it should say after year 8, not beginning of year 8.
But it's always been that.
It should say after 8 years of service.
I guess the problem is, they're coming in just like I'm just coming in. You guys all know what the past process.
Yeah, I understand that.
I don't, and when I read this, not knowing what past practice was, it says beginning year 8. And that's the problem. If I read it coming in when I have come in, it says beginning year 8.
I sure don't want to, I think it's a costly mistake to do this.
I know, but
And we keep having these damn costly things, just like this 7% highway. This is a costly thing. If they're paying, we should pay them for doing their job, but it's 7%. And you can't, and money's tight. You can't keep doing this shit.
Donna, did you have something?
Yeah, I think that the example, the point I was making is you don't get any vacation until you've completed a year. So it stands to reason to me, regardless of the bad, I think that's bad wording, unfortunately, is that the practice is if you don't get any vacation until you've completed your first year, you don't get the rest of your vacation, the increase in your vacation time until you've completed your 8th year. And I agree the wording is bad. It's unfortunate.
Charlie, with all the employees we have that read this policy, nobody said, oh, we get an extra year? Seriously.
Bob, I asked.
I'm just curious, because I guarantee you, if that said beginning year 10, if we'd have misprinted that, we'd have heard about it.
That's true.
I do not remember any discussion at the time that this policy book was discussed and passed about changing the way we did things when it came to the vacation schedule. And if it's interpreted the way the argument is it should be interpreted, I guess, then we changed policy. And I don't remember that ever being. Therefore, I would move that we keep policy the same as it has been in the past, and the 15 days would be awarded after the completion of the 8th year, and the wording be changed to clarify that in that way. And the same thing with the next line also.
There was a motion.
The whole thing. I'm making that motion.
I'll second that. Okay, we got there's two different discussion, motion, and response, and then we got discussion, motion for revision, so what's the motion that you wrote down so far?
Keep the policy as it has been in the past. They receive their vacation after the completion of their
8th year for 15 days, and
15 days.
whatever the next line is also, with the completion of, is it 12 years? 15?
15 and beyond.
Yeah, we got two, I put on the agenda for two
So
separate.
you're really removing the word beginning.
You just need a motion for the decision, then a motion for the change.
We should have been there.
So you're doing that all as one.
We're doing all of the establishment of policy as
Okay.
one, in my opinion. Is that okay, Tom?
Yeah, I'm just rereading how the discussion, motion, and response to problem resolution forms. So we need, the first motion should be,
What I just said. Okay.
should be, the first motion should be our response, policy committee's response to their action, then the second one needs to their form, and then the second one needs to be the motion for the revisions to the policy. The procedure, it's in there somewhere. Responsibility of the policy committee to get, the employee will present a completed problem resolution form to the Iroquois County Policy and Procedure Committee. Iroquois County Policy and Procedure Committee will investigate the complaint and will respond with a written response within 4 weeks of receipt of the concern. The decision of the Iroquois County Policy and Procedure Committee is final. So we got to get, I think it's twofold here.
Has Evan, you talked to Evan on this?
Briefly, and he's under the same, like what Jim said, it reads this policy committee decision, and it depends how you read it. Again,
I understand what you're saying, but I still think it's a mistake if we don't stay like we've been doing. And I agree with Anita, we should possibly look into doing it on anniversary dates for vacation.
And I'm requesting a list from the Policy and Procedure Committee of the policies that are different from what's written and what is actual practice, so that I can let the health department employees know, so that they know that. Because saying, I know what the policy says, but that's not the way we do it, isn't fair to them. Okay.
We hit one of these people down there, went through this last year, didn't hear a thing. Now we got two that did it, now we're changing it again.
You got a motion in a second on the floor.
Yeah.
We're having discussion.
Now we can still remain in discussion. Read the motion one more time, so we're all on the same page what we're discussing.
Okay, we're keeping the policy as it has been in the past, with the completion after the 8th year, and then the wording to be changed.
All this.
No wording.
Yeah.
I'm not changing any
We're
wording.
not changing any, okay.
No. I'm just establishing the policy, and then we'll talk about the wording.
Okay.
We have to give them a written response to what we're doing here. So, yeah, that motion and a second.
Okay.
Further
So you
discussion.
made the motion. Dan, you
I second it, yeah.
Okay.
Any further discussion, John?
I think we got a real can of worms here, to be very honest with you, and I think that's one reason that the state's attorney and Mr. Hibben are not wanting to weigh in on the matter, but leave it up to us. In any case, I think there's a strong argument for keeping the policy the way it's been in the past. I wish there was a way, however, that we might handle the employees who have misinterpreted that, in other words, by reaching some sort of compromise with them on this matter. I don't think we should just shut them out the door. I think that's something that's going to be very destructive, or can be very destructive to employee morale. I don't think that's something that we really want to do. But at the same time, I certainly agree that there is a policy in place that in terms of past practice, but this mistake is something that we did. And I think we need to own up to our mistake, not the employee's mistake. It's our mistake. And you know, Dale may be right. You know, when we went through this, I don't remember talking about it either, but I know we didn't go through the whole thing. And I'm not sure if we ever got to this point. We got kind of tired of it after a while.
And more than likely.
Oh, I think we went through the whole thing.
Yeah.
Well, but
It all got read in committee.
And remember, we did pay a company to go through it and bring it up to date for us.
That's right, and we started out really going through nitpicking everything, and we kind of got tired of that after a while. I don't know how that relates to this, but be that as it may, this is on us. It's not on the employees, and I think that's something we ought to think about. There's some way of compensating them or whatever. I think that's something we ought to consider. I just don't think this is something that shut the door in their face. I remember my phone was ringing. I don't know who it is. I didn't know what was even on. Probably somebody telling you to wake up. Well, my first job many years ago, before many of you went to work, the problem that here lies probably on an employee annual year versus
a fiscal year by the county board. Fortunately, I went to work in June, and I worked all the way to January 1, not even earning anything toward retirement. But January 1 then, when I worked a full year on their fiscal year, I finally earned my 2 weeks. That's the way it was done in those days. That's about what they're doing here. It's just weird and a little funny, but there's a difference between employees' year and the fiscal year of the organization you're working for. Simple. You got to, when you write, you got to make sure you're talking about one or the other, and when you switch from one to the other, you got to be very specific in doing so in writing. That's all it amounts to.
File.
I guess that's what my question is. Past practice was one way. Once it's put in writing, whether it was discussed that it changes it or not, which takes precedence. The in writing was done after and was approved by the board. Does that take precedent over past practice, or?
They didn't change it while I was here.
I got a question, Jim, on John's question. This is our mistake. How we fix this, and if we keep try to fix this, is it change? Does it have an effect on us?
How is that fair to, like, Alex O'Brien is now in his 10th year, but he worked his 8th year and got 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So are we going to retroactively go back and compensate him because he didn't get that extra week, like these 2 employees are going to get? I mean, you're going to open up a bigger can of worms if you're going to start making exceptions and giving these 2 people some kind of a benefit and not all the others who lived by the old rules, even after this policy was adopted.
Well,
No. Not at all.
When was
Writ of
this
habeas
approved?
corpus has nothing to do with it. But you could throw out words like ex post facto and it would be the same thing.
But I guess this was adapted 10/8/13, they said, so anybody before that would be, you know, it would only be people that was after that that would affect, I would think.
Okay, well, in O'Brien's case, he would have been affected by this policy also, and he didn't get.
And I don't remember how many they said it affected. It was 4 or 5, something like that. 5 later. So which means,
Not including the 2 that have filled this thing out.
So it's just,
well, it would effectively be, if we did it, we would almost be fair, have to give those 5 people 1 extra week paid vacation that they would have to take within whatever, you know, whether it's this year or within the next 2 years or whatever, to be fair, and then change it, the wording, so that from here forward.
What's it through year 7 mean, Jim?
Completing 7 years. I mean,
Completing 7.
I mean, again, look at how IMRF interprets it. I think that's probably the best example. You don't become vested under Tier 1 until you've completed your 8th year. You know, they say, 0 through 8,
The way we're
you're
doing
not
it.
vested. So you've got to complete your 8th year. And now in Tier 2, you've got to complete your 10th year before you're vested. And if that's how you want to interpret it, then...
So it's very clear. It says after 1 year
It's
through
not
7
very
years.
clear.
Yeah, it's obviously not very clear.
Gosh, darn.
It's clear. It's just not how you do it.
All right, we got motion and a second. We'll keep, anybody from the committee want to add any more tidbits to this?
The problem for I look at it, I agree with Dale 100% because the preferential treatment issue on that is, that's another can of worms.
I don't think it's preferential treatment. I guarantee you, if any of us at this table were affected, we'd be taking the same stance that these employees are taking, and your morale would be affected.
No differentiation.
You can't.
Morale's affected on a daily basis around here. It's just,
You know,
I understand the point Kevin made about the money part, we don't have, we're tight for money, I understand all that, but we also have to look at...
Okay, but if you think you're right, what do you feel should be done?
Well,
I mean,
I don't know that there's anybody gonna come up with an answer that's perfect. What I said was, I think we need to try and find some way to compensate the people that are affected by this. I don't know if Mr. Devine has a suggestion on how we can make a special case for that, I don't know. But what that compensation would be, I'm not sure either. But I think we need to try and reach some sort of compromise for the people that are affected by this. I don't think we should just shut the door on them and say, sorry, you're out of luck.
I would entertain the idea of agreeing with you, John, if I saw that there was only one way to interpret what it says. But to me, it doesn't only say that after 7 years you begin to get 15 days. To me, you can interpret it the other way. Also, therefore, that's why I made the motion.
Mr. Yergler interpreted it the same way these two employees did.
He asked, and it was explained to him, and he accepted it.
Maybe these employees will do the same, but again, I can't see how it doesn't affect their morale adversely. I think that's something you need to take into consideration.
The discussion from the committee?
I mean, if we have 4 weeks to do this, do we really need to make a decision today?
I was trying to do it to save the money.
This motion will fix the problem for the future.
No.
No.
It
We have
only
to
takes
change the
care of
wording.
it right now, and then we have to change the wording to clarify for everybody. My motion does not change the wording.
There's two separate issues that's why they're two separate things that are...
We have 4 weeks to respond to their problem resolution form. I looked at the calendar, depending on how, there again, depending on, do you consider the day of the next policy committee, can be 4 days, 4 weeks, or am I going to miss it by 15 minutes because it's 9:15 when we actually do it? Then somebody's filing another problem. I just thought we could knock one on the head.
Question.
Yep.
You said in the policy procedure manual that policy and procedure committee's decision is
That's what it reads.
final.
Yes, that's how it reads.
And so, I guess, if they're reading this word for word and accepting that as law, then they're also reading that and accepting that if we decide that it reads, that it begins after year 8, that is law also, because they've agreed to that policy. Correct? So, whatever we decide here, they, by accepting the policy, have agreed to accept that. Problem with that is, then there is no policy because we can change policy whenever we want.
Well, if this is the only printer finding this damn policy, that'll be a miracle. You know, I mean, you got policy because you have to have a policy, but you're going to have interpretation issues with it. It's not, nobody wants to hurt people, right? But, you know, we can't open a can of worms like this. When somebody wants to come up with a
You know, I take responsibility for this, because there's another policy I have a copy of that says that I have to notify them when their change of status for their benefits is. So of course, December 1st, I let them know that they were eligible for 15 days. Because when I read the policy, I think it's clear, but that's my opinion. So, and we weren't told anything any different, we didn't know that.
Of course, it's new and we haven't been questioned.
You know, so they took it literally, they were asked to sign it. You know, nobody's trying to hurt anybody here. We're not trying to hurt the county. They're certainly not trying to hurt their employer, the health department. They truly felt that there was a mistake when they got their pay stub, and it said 10 days. So they brought it to me, and then when I went to Amanda said it would have to go to Policy and Procedure Committee. So they filled out the form to give you. They're not going to sue. They're not going to throw a fit. These are reasonable, caring nurses or health department employees. They're not going to they will accept what the Policy and Procedure Committee does. I just think it's unfortunate that for a year and a half they've expected that December 1st, from this December 1st, they were going to get 15 days of vacation, and now they're all of a sudden told that's not how we do it. I think that's unfortunate, and I think it's sad.
Well, nobody is trying to hurt anybody here. We're trying to do this as best we can, and this was obviously a printer. We should have mirrored our IMRF. I think Jim was right there. But I don't know how you do this other than the way we're fixing to do it. And I mean, I'm sorry that it hurt somebody. I'm sorry that the expectations got, but it's still always been this way. And we sure dropped the ball. But what do you do?
That's why I suggested we try and determine some way of reaching a compromise, so that maybe give them a couple days off or something, I don't know.
Well, again, I just can't get over the fact that nobody questioned the policy and brought it forward. I mean, obviously, people knew they were banking on this, but, well, Bob, he said he did, but to me, somebody, whether it's management, supervision or whatever, should say, hey, wait a minute, there's an extra year here. Kind of like, in my years of work, I've rarely seen an employee come forward and say, oh, must be a mistake in my paycheck, it's too large. But if you ever short them an hour, you're going to hear about it immediately. Yep, that's true. Just my 2 cents.
I had a brief discussion with Kyle about this a few days ago, and one of the comments he made was, I wonder what else would be found wrong with the policy manual.
Oh, I'm sure it'll be gone through the fine-tooth comb now.
I wish we would have had somebody look at it right away and said this is what it's all.
It did. You looked at how many pages is that thing? And it's just.
Problem is, if I'd have read it, I wouldn't have. You guys read it the way you are used to it, and I'd have read it without knowing what you were used to.
The first 2 lines contradict each other.
Yeah.
So the first one, how do you?
And let me ask one other question. How long has this been in the black and white? Didn't we just have an outside company go through this and change it in the last 4 years?
10/8/13 was when that was done. 10/8/13. October 8th of 13 was when it was adopted.
When it was adopted?
Yeah.
So a little, I wonder if that was actually changed, how the language was when we had that
Well,
company do
okay,
that.
I'll say when I started, there were some policies, very few policies were written down. And there were some I could find, nothing specific about vacation, just, I don't even remember if there was one on vacation. But then, was it 3 years ago, that we gave those policies to this company, all the union contracts, and they took all the verbiage from the union contracts and the policies we had to write a policy manual for us. And then this committee went through however many policies there are. They all got read aloud. Pretty brutal, for months at a time. Changes were made, etc. That was kind of the process. But there really was nothing. For non-union people, we really just looked and we really just looked at the AFSCME contract. That's what I was told when I started non-union follows after me with the exception of these changes. And one of them was they get it on December 1st instead of on their anniversary date.
Which the employees were aware of. Anita made that very clear to them. Before we even moved over, we had a day where Amanda and me came over to the 3rd Street 4-year Coy building and went over the benefits. And she made it clear that it would be allocated to them on December 1st. So they knew about that. So they're not, even though this policy doesn't say that, they were aware of that. So nobody's making an issue over that. So, because Anita did make them aware of that.
Anybody else?
Well, we got a motion, I guess.
We got a motion and a second. There's no other discussion. One more time, and then Amanda, read the motion. Fully vote.
Keeping the policy as it has been in the past with the completion after the 8th year. And what did you add something to that?
You want the rest will be hammered out in the next motion. It's your motion. You do what you want.
Well, I think it should
Yeah,
include,
it
should
can
include the
reflect
end
it,
one
yeah.
also. Beginning the 15th year, it would be after the completion of that 15th year. So it's completion of the 8th year and completion of the 15th year. Completion of, as opposed to in the beginning of,
15th year. Okay,
but not changing any wording.
correct.
Say that.
In other words, beginning after year
the
8.
years 1 through 8, is that what you're saying?
You know, it would be beginning
completion of the
after
8th
year
year
8 through 14 and beginning after year 15.
Beginning after the 8th year.
Beginning after 8th year, beginning after 15th year.
I think what will need to be done is we're going to have to draw out a very plain pen and paper, an example, and put it in the policy.
Is that how IMRF does it?
Yeah, actually, IMRF does, in theory, you have to have, it says 8 years, right? So, and they actually do by month. So you have to have reported earnings in 96 months, completing 8 years, 8 times 12. That's what it is.
Everybody feels comfortable as they can with the motion that we're about to vote on.
Read it back one more time.
Okay. Keeping the policy as it has been in the past. We'll have completion after the 8th year, completion after the 15th year.
Okay.
Correct.
Okay.
But that's not, is that the response to what these people have filed? We're filing, we're turning down, is that what you're saying?
Mm-hmm.
It has nothing to do with the 15th year. It has to do with what they're talking about. I'm not changing any wording with
We
my
can make,
motion.
we're not, we can make the response, we can make the response as vague and short as we want, or we can elaborate and try to explain to them what the reasoning or, some of the reasoning.
Is this, you feel would be defendable?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Is the wording good? Defendable?
Yeah, defendable. Good one.
All right, we're gonna go ahead and call the roll, please.
Raymond?
Yes.
Hanson?
Yeah, I'm sorry, you're on my gut side.
Bills?
Yes.
Schur?
No.
Schultz?
Yes.
Barron?
Yes.
Crumwitty?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes. That motion passes. Now, and we'll get that in a written response to them. Next on this is discussion motion for revisions to personnel policy. Just a vacation. We're not going to go through the whole thing today. So just on this vacation policy, what do you want to do?
I jotted something down.
Okay.
I have it down as after year 1 through the completion of year 7, 10 working days. Beginning at the completion of year 8 through the completion of year 14, 15 working days. beginning at the completion of year 15 and beyond, 20 working days would be the change. Just a few words here and there.
I have only one suggestion. Leave out the words beginning.
Agreed.
Why don't you,
Just at the completion, or after the completion.
take out the word beginning.
It sounded like there might have been a gap there. You said completion of your 14th year, and then the completion of your 15th year. Now you got a year gap.
Yeah.
So, right? I'm sorry, I'm not putting you, but no.
First you complete
No,
14 years,
yeah,
the
that's
next
right.
year you complete 15.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. You don't see a gap in that.
I think there should also be a statement in there to clarify it further, to say vacation or holiday.
In the 8th year.
Taken a year after which it's earned.
It's just in heaven and earth.
Okay. And then, I put on there the discussion, the motion for this. We want to get to where we feel comfortable with what Dan has, or with the, kind of a put together revision. I think we make it so it's, with, state's attorney's approval, that way he can look through it. Review. Not an approval, but just in the language review.
This part
Clear
clear,
and.
the language of this?
Pardon?
Can you review the
Yeah,
language?
I'd be happy.
Make it.
this part's got to go through him anyway. We can't finalize this. It has to go to the board.
Yes, this will go back, then we can deal with it again at the next policy, and then it'll go to the full county board in February.
Do we need to address the December one?
Yes, I would.
What's the
Yeah.
suggestion?
The suggestion is that put it back, do it like it says, as of their anniversary date. This is going to be.
I'm fine with it.
Is that something we can negotiate with the union?
We're
No,
not
these are
changing
not-
union.
Oh, these are non-union, okay.
Can you give a quick, brief, and an accurate description of how this is going to go
I don't
down?
know about accurate, but I'll give it a shot. What I talked to Kyle about, the transition. See, the difficulty would be that just this first year, the transition. So we'll use Bob as an example. Bob's anniversary date is in May. That's 6 months. What we would do, we granted him his now 3 weeks, December 1st. So we would historically give him another 3 weeks next December 1st. What I would recommend doing is, once this is approved, we start this year. In May, we give Bob 7.5 days, 6 months, half of his vacation. That plus what he's got his 3 weeks is all he's going to get to next May, May 2017. So essentially, we're going to shore people up, and this first year will be prorated to carry them through their next anniversary date. So see what I'm saying? Does that make sense? Can you wrap your head around that?
Yeah.
I'm thinking that would work. And then, next year it's all done. Nobody gets it on their December 1st. It would just be their anniversary date. Then next May 2017, he gets his 3 weeks. Okay, so just to clarify, then because somewhere there's a policy, don't quote me on where it's at, but that one I'd have to look at, that says that you can't have more than 20 days of vacation. That if somebody has 20 days of vacation and you're going to prorate that, they end up with 30. Right. So that'd be okay. Right. So, right, this is a transition year.
It's gotta be.
So through this transition year, we would allow.
And some of them will go into the negatives, correct?
Right. Well,
It depends how you
No,
look at it.
because
I don't remember what we talked about on that part of it.
we talked about first doing it, not giving them their vacation till the next year.
Oh,
But if you
yeah.
give it to them this year and prorate through their next year, they should never go in the negative.
Yeah, it was the first.
All they'll do is run into the max 20 days.
This way you're hoping we're hoping to eliminate hurting another person, your
Right, it just makes it a lot clearer.
Yeah.
Tell me one time when the guy quits, he doesn't get papers on his
Upon separation,
You got a lot of things to look at.
upon separation of employment, employees will be paid for unused vacation time. Is what John's saying. Wait, what's it?
thought the discussion was on sick time the other day.
They get vacation time.
They get vacation time paid out, but what John was questioning at the last PMP meeting is, we do not shore up, when somebody terminates, we do not shore up for a partial year. We don't accrue from December 1st through their termination date a partial year of earned vacation and pay them out back. It's whatever's on the books for them. And that's what John is questioning. Shouldn't we be, it is, are you assuming they accrue as they work, or are you assuming they accrue each full year?
After the completion.
After the completion of that year.
My
So-
point is simply, we need to put these things in writing so there's no misunderstanding about it. We don't, whatever the policy is,
I've never had any termination question, question any of these things, but vacation. Never questioned the vacation payout. I haven't had a question about it, or sick.
Well, the motion we just did, didn't that say after completion of, then it says they will receive vacation based on the following, and it says after completion of now, so that should have taken care of it.
really what I'm saying though is that discussing motion on these revisions is, my view, is something we need to think about again at our next PMP meeting, because I think there's a lot of things in here that we really should look at pretty carefully. We can come up with, how you're going to address these different things.
Seems reasonable, Jim, to address this with the next policy? Yeah. Let me check, make sure nobody's date's gonna hit. I'll have to check this, make sure we're not gonna fall into some other crap. Gotta get it done before December. Any other questions? We're gonna address this at the next policy meeting. That's okay with everybody? Okay, any other, that's okay, motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Dale Schultz, John Scher, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.